Well, I think it's first off, it was a short break, but it was a well needed break, and I mean it was a long first half. I mean we played 18 games. That was games with Bowling Green. Middle of December were supposed to be the middle of January, but we had to move them a year ago. So that obviously extended that first half. But obviously those two games were, they were two big wins for us. But again, well needed rest. Excited to get back. And the second half's going to start on Friday, and it's always a sprint. I always say the season's a marathon, but now the second half's a sprint. It goes awful fast.
What do you mean when it goes into a sprint? Does that change how you guys do things then too, or is that maybe?
No, when I say it goes into a sprint, Jared, I probably should have specified that more. When I say a sprint, it goes fast. I mean, it just goes fast. I mean, we've got 8 series left, but they go fast, and it's different. It's just different, and the playoffs are near. You're gonna snap your finger, and the next thing you know, the playoffs start. So
you talk about making this place a tough place to play, especially on Friday nights. And how true is that this weekend when both teams are coming off a little bit of a break, and it's kind of right back into that action, getting back to game speed?
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I mean, it's always interesting these first games after break because there's, your legs aren't quite up to where they were before break, but it doesn't take long. But these games can be very interesting, both ways. It can be, sometimes again you can, you can feel it pretty good, but sometimes you're struggling a bit too. So. I'm sure it's going to be a little ragged at times, especially on Friday night a little bit. I can't speak for St. Cloud totally, but we're not even going to be practicing until Wednesday, so we're only going to have 2 days of practice, before the game. So, but I think the rest was more needed than the practice time, just because again it was a grind that first half, and we also we played 10 days ago too, so I think it was very important to give the guys some time off.
You talked about playing the in-state teams like Duluth, North Dakota, they're right on the edge, but then Minnesota State. Does St. Cloud, do they bring some of that in-state rivalry feel?
No, absolutely. It's fun playing the in-state teams. The players love it, the fans love it, the coaches love it. I mean, I think it's special playing the in-state teams, and mostly in the state of hockey. I mean, there's 6 teams playing Division I hockey, and I think anytime you play each other, there's a little more on the line. I don't like using the term bragging rights, but it just kind of comes to mind. But it's just they're fun to play, and there's more exposure. People are paying attention to it. The people in the state of Minnesota, they're watching a little more closely, and they remember those scores. When the Minnesota teams play.
And lastly, you talked about that Bowling Green series and how there were a lot of guys that had to step up in multiple different ways, whether it's moving up into a more prominent role or a power play or moving into the lineup. And that's going to be a thing from here to the rest of the season with guys coming in and out of the lineup. How do you manage to keep this team grounded in the sense that for the guys that do have to step up, that they still have to perform to their role and not try to do too much?
Well, that's a tough task sometimes because at the end of the day, sometimes less is more. That's what you're getting at, and just play honest. That's all I ever ask. Just play honest, and I think sometimes too when guys obviously again probably step out of bounds a little bit, things can get dicey, but that's human nature too. So you have to. I always say every play matters, and you have to play the game. You play to win, and every play matters. And I think when you have that mindset, it probably helps your overall game.
Yeah, it's exciting. Obviously, in-state rivals. They're a great team. They always are. Just excited to be back. A couple weeks off and away from the team, so everyone's excited to get back after it.
You go into this break with 2 huge wins. And is there a little bit of antsiness to kind of get back out there after such a good weekend?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. We were mentally prepared to go home, but when you have a couple big wins like that, you kind of want to continue that momentum on. But we have a chance to this weekend, so like I said, we're excited.
How important is it to get a good start this weekend with both teams coming off a little bit of a break, and then obviously with kind of getting into the swing of things in that second half of the season?
Yeah, for sure. Getting out there and trying to get that first goal is always is always an important task, and coming out of a break for both teams, especially, like you said, it's important. So.
First half of this season, first periods were kind of tough, right? It's a lot of getting outscored 2-0, 3-1. But going into this holiday break, it was much better. It was probably one of your biggest strengths is getting that first goal and building off of it. What changed there in that middle part of the first half?
I can't point anything specific out, but I think we just really keyed in on it. We got more mature in that area, and that's something that was in the back of our head and something we worked on, whether it was film or just talking about it and how we can change that. So we showed a little maturity in that part of the game, and definitely helped us towards the end.
For you, as someone who grew up in Minnesota, and this is such a big place for hockey, talk about how fun these in-state games are for you to go into and play.
Yeah, it's a blast. Normally, there's a little bit of bigger crowd. You got fan bases traveling. There's bragging rights on the line between fans and players. So it's always fun to have a rivalry game, and like I said, the atmosphere is normally a little better. So we're excited to play it.